Okay, so we are here once again. Woo. There's so much that I've been picking up on. I just really don't even know where to start.
Your face is still big though. It's not going to go down.
Okay, so of course, I picked up on some dark things. So there's blood on somebody's hands. There is So this situation here, we're going to talk about this, okay? Because I had an experience one night to where individuals, children, their 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 shadows were speaking to me. Okay? So the thing is that it's three children, but only two of them spoke to me. And they had like little demonic voices. And they were like, "We're bad kids," you know. So I pictured there's a silhouette of a man, and he's laying in the bed. And then the children come and they get in the bed with him. But I think that there is a woman in the bed, and the woman does not like the children. I don't know if they're her children or if they're his children, but I think that she was upset that the children came in and slept in the bed. So it's kind of like in her mind, she's upset. This man, you picked up on something was off about her when the children came in. So, this person is a star seed, but they don't know. This woman is a star seed, but she doesn't know she's a star seed. Okay, so she doesn't understand what she's picking up from the children. The children don't like her and she don't like the children because the children are very protective over the father. So their demons get triggered when it comes to this woman. So I kind of intervened, right? Because the children was just like, "Yeah, we're bad kids." So I said to them, I was just like, "Well, how bad are you if you running in here because you scared to sleep in your room and you coming in here to sleep in your dad bed?" You know, little baby demons. That kind of tells me too that somebody has involved their children in some type of sacrifice. Okay, you have to be careful, and especially if an individual is aware that your children's soul has been so targeted or cursed, then your children are subjected to anything coming in and guiding them in a specific way. It's kind of like you don't don't sell your children to me. Don't sell me their soul. Okay? Okay? Because they're going to be mine. And them children are going to be strong as hell. Okay? So whatever you have going on, it's kind of like, for one, you shouldn't have done that because children cannot handle the truth. And you cannot bring them to me because it's kind of like the truth is going to disturb them. I'm very good with helping people with their shadows, you know, and it's harsh work. It's not for the children. You're supposed to leave the children alone. You're supposed to leave the children out of it. Okay, so I mean, that's what it seemed like to me. Somebody, they done sold their children's soul. But if you try to do all three of them, one of them is chosen. So one of them is untouchable. So whoever did what, you already doomed. And you're going to be haunted by those other two children's demons. And what y'all are going to try to do, y'all are going to try to gang up on the chosen one. So, I'm not going to say too much about all that. So, for the woman that's sleeping in the bed with this man, intuitively, she knows. But she doesn't know who she is, so she doesn't understand what she knows. You know that all children are not innocent. And sometimes it's hard for adults to deal with other people's children because you have boundaries. If you were tapped into who you were wholeheartedly, you could deal with them children. You get irritated because they be gaslighting the fuck out of you and the father. You can see it. But you got to be careful about how you move. But you're not in touch with your own demons. So it's kind of like them kids be driving you fucking crazy. Don't send them to me. Because I don't want just the shadow. I want all of the child. So you done already sold them off in the spirit. You know? So anyway, it's some shit going on with that. My thing is, I'm trying to help you with perspective, because I do think it's a black man, and the thing is that you feel like the children, it's kind of like when you have time with the dad, it's like y'all's time. And you don't want to be interrupted. I don't know. Whoever the fuck this is, girl, you got problems with children. I think that you're emotionally immature. And that has a lot to do with how you relate to people in general. You're one of those people to where you see children beneath you and you are above the children. So therefore, you are not connecting with the children. So let me help you. When it comes to those children, show them respect. Like and connect to them as if you're trying to develop a real relationship with them. Don't baby them because they're going to play on that. Like their innocence is gone. So all that fake shit, they're going to feed off of that from you. Okay? So I feel like that has something to do with the mother. So it could be something heavy, like mom actually did some type of work. But then on top of that too, it could have something that it could be as simple as mom sacrificing the children for stability. Most people are doing that all day, every day. But I mean, for the children to come to me, that's spell word. That's a curse. So them demons love me. Well, shit, everybody demons love me, child. Oof. It's nice to have some little baby demons around, though. I work with children a lot during the summertime, and they some badass kids. But shit. Child, I got 100 and 1 million ways to keep them kids occupied and focused on some shit and keeping them mentally relaxed. You know, there was a lot of warfare last year going on between two of the boys. You know, it had a lot to do with their mothers not liking each other. And the shit was coming through the children. Children don't have no control. So, you know, they came into my spot. You know, when they came into my environment is cleansed and pure. So, you know, them children got to fighting. They was only 10 years old, so they ain't doing no real damage. But, and you know, I'm not getting in the middle of that, because if I'm trying to break it up and one of them get hurt, then they parents gonna come to me, you know, and try to start some shit with me. So, and you know, they little boys. So I was just like, well, they need to thug it out anyway, because the warfare is so thick. And this is how people be poisoning their children's spirits too. If you have something to say to somebody, you need to tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? That is how you free and you cut that energy. You know, sometimes people are trying to avoid situations because they don't want things to blow out of proportion. Well, be in control. And if you see that that other person is not in control when it starts getting too hot and heavy, then you have to exit. You know, them little boys went at it. I'm going to tell you one thing though. They was upset when my son came out there. It's kind of like I felt something in the room go like this. It's like they separated. You know, my son said, what's going on in here? He didn't know that they was fighting. You know? So they was just like, nothing, man. Nothing going on, blah, 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 blah. But then one of them start, he did this to me. He did that to me. You know, so they start back fussing again and shit like that. But when my son came, that's when they left. You know, and one of them, he stayed back and he was crying and shit. So, you know, I had to talk to him. I told both of them, I was just like, y'all gonna be friends tomorrow. So just calm down on how y'all are treating each other right now. You know what I mean? Of course they don't want to hear it. You know. So, child, them boys. Them boys a mess. And it's crazy because it's little black boys. So it's real empathetic. It's real sensitive. You know, it's powerful. Then on top of that, we outside in the summertime heat. You know, you got this little 10-year-old boy, they got a little keyboard and they was going to try to fix it up so they could sell it. You know, so I'm just like, why are you so worried about having money? You're only 10 years old. But see, that shit comes from the parents. That's what they be seeing from the parents. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, shit really shows through people's children about, you know, what's going on with the parents. So, you know, last summer I was out here doing work. I was just like, damn. Little motherfuckers coming up in here eating all my goddamn popsicles, drinking up all my sodas, eating up all my chips. You know, I got like a little drum. They sitting there banging the hell out of that drum. But I mean, I don't know. You know, when I go in and create my space, you know, I just be prepared for anything to come out. So, and my drum, it's a healing drum. So he was banging the fuck out of that drum. You know, I was just sitting there. I was loving it. I was like, damn. It's crazy. He must be getting his chaos out. He must be healing himself. You know, a part of me felt like he was trying to annoy me. But when he saw I wasn't annoyed, that I was actually enjoying it. Well, you know, a couple of storage units down, you know, they have a band. You know, that should be popping in the summertime. The drummer, that is his storage. So, you know, the drummer be out there all times of the year, all time throughout the day, you know, and you'll hear him like banging the shit out of them drums. So, you know, I like music. I like sound. I like vibration, you know. The next day, I saw them little boys out here riding around with their bikes. I said, look at them sitting up here trying to fight. But after the summertime, when they split up, you know, they seem real healthy, you know. So I don't know, baby. It'd be something about that heat. It'd be something about that heat. I don't. And you know, we have a pool, and they used to go to the pool, but they ain't had nobody to take them to the pool. And then on top of that, they don't know how to act. So it's like they can't go without being monitored, you know. I would take them to the pool, but you know, I had shit going on. And then it's kind of like, well, if you can't be responsible to where I can get you into the pool and you just be grateful and make sure that you behave yourself, you know, then you're going to be out here in this hot sun slaving, angry and fighting. You know, them boys, they burn off that spiritual shit. They heal with burning it off. That's why when they start fighting, I was just like, look at these heathens. You know, that shit was crazy because my son stepped up in there. It's kind of like they scattered like roaches. What's going on up in here? I said, damn, where you come from? you know, they played with the dog. They threw the ball around, you know, with my son for a little bit. They need to be in that pool. But they so tight with that pool, you know. I don't know. I don't like getting into that pool because the woman who operates the pool, she got small children, so it's kind of like she don't want them swimming in the chlorine. But it's just like, girl, this is a community pool. It's not about you and your children. You know, and you're not even making the right decision for your children because the pool, it don't have no chlorine in it. You see fucking snot and spit and shit floating around because the chlorine is not eating it up. She don't want to be too harsh on the children, girl. So after that, I was just like, I don't even want to go to, I don't want to be at this pool. But anyway, let me see. So there's a woman too, right? It's kind of like she don't like anything about being a woman. I don't know what it is. You know, some people don't like using public restrooms, right? Okay, I get it. Me personally, I don't give a fuck, bitch. I'm not holding my shit. I'm not holding my piss for nobody. That's unhealthy. But, you know, people have their reasons. So, you know, it's just this woman. She's just always complaining about everything about women. It's more so of the smell of women. You know, cause it's kind of like, why these bitches don't wash their pussy? Why they always stink? So I'm gonna tell you, right? I grew up in a house of women. Okay, you know, when I was younger and we used to go to church, you know, like as a little girl, when I would go into a stall behind an older woman, you know, I would smell her feminine odor. So of course, when I was a little girl, I'm just like, ugh. You know what I'm saying? But with growing up in a house of women and just getting older and understanding more about just myself as a woman in general. You okay?
Yeah.
You hungry?
Mm-hmm.
You ready to go right now?
No.
You sure? You sure?
Yeah.
I can pause, baby.
No, keep going.
Okay. Well, thank you. So, you know, it's kind of like it's like so anyway, wait, before we get into her, when it comes to me, sometimes you'll go into public restrooms, and all women, we all know that, our restrooms smell a little different, and then when you go into the stalls, it smell like a woman's feminine odor. Sometimes when a woman comes out and then you go in, you smell her feminine odor. My thing is that it's always been that way. So I don't understand why this woman is complaining. I don't understand. Like, that is something natural. So it's kind of like, and bitch, don't sit up here and act like your pussy be A1 all the time. And don't act like when you on your cycle, that shit don't smell like some dead ass fish. Well, I'ma tell you, with those gummies I got, when I came on my period, it didn't smell that way. It smelled like flesh. It smelled like flesh. It smelled like meat. I said, damn, you know, I usually have real bad cramps. I didn't have bad cramps. I had a little pressure. I dealt with a little bloating, but by the time I came on my period, I had stopped taking them. But I noticed, my flow was easier. I didn't have so many issues going on with my stomach, with cramping. Then it's kind of like the smell won't potent or strong. I don't care if you use tampons, I don't care if you use pads. The moment that you pull your pants down, that shit releases into the air. So, when it came to, but this period cycle, I'm just like, damn, this some good shit. I said, this some good shit. I said, it don't smell, it smell like flesh, like meat. You know what I'm saying? But it don't smell like harsh. And when I'm on my cycle, I try to hide it from my son, but he be smelling it, he say it smell like silver, like the blood smell like silver, like sometimes he be like, mommy, you on your silver? It smell like silver in the bathroom, he talking about the blood. I be like, yeah, baby. So that's what I'm saying. Like, what's up? What is up with you constantly looking for every reason to bash a woman, and especially when it comes to her feminine essence? It's like you do not like femininity. It's kind of like, I think you don't like being a woman, but you want to be taken care of like a woman. But I don't understand. Because I'm going to tell you, if you want to act like a man, you want to be like a man, you want to be equivalent to a man, then you're going to be treated like one. You're not going to like the treatment because you want to be taken care of. Men are providers. You want to be a provider, but you don't really want to put in the hard work. You just want to make it look like you're putting in work. So it's kind of like, no, like, what are you really doing? Like everything that you're doing is very manipulated. And then it's kind of like you're trying to bash like women. I don't understand. My sister, my younger sister, so she's like a stud muffin, right? Which means that she's gay, she's homosexual. And I remember one day she was in the bathroom, she was on her cycle, and I could smell the blood. And I was like, wow. I mean, I don't have this nose for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I be picking up on smells, I was just like, wow, it smells like fresh blood. So I told her, I said, I could smell your blood. I said, I could smell your blood. She said, huh? And the thing is that my sister, she's very masculine. But when I smell her odor, it's so feminine. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, wow, she's so androgynous, she's so masculine, but her essence of a woman is just so feminine. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know. My thing, I just think it's real. It's immaturity. It's very immature. Then it's kind of that is you subconsciously crying out for help from other women. Thank you, from other women, because damn, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, because that is a sign of self-hate. So, maybe you got issues with your mother, maybe you're male centered. So, women who are male centered, it's kind of like you don't like or get along with other women because you're always in competition with other women. You are uncomfortable with other women. It's like you can't connect. You don't know sisterhood. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you're not the type of woman to where if you're going through things, another woman can't open up her arms to you and hold you. You would feel uncomfortable. It's something very, very low vibrational, very immature, very hurt, very broken. Dealing with feminine energy. Maybe you're resentful because you don't have any real creativity. A lot of women that I know, I'm a target because I'm very creative. So, I have a tendency to, a lot of the women that I deal with that are some serious haters, it's like they're nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tell people all the time, everybody has something that they can do, and it's not that serious because you can learn a skill, you can learn a hobby. It's not that serious to be jealous of somebody else and what they do. But it's kind of like these bitches be so, it's like they're so fake. You know what I'm saying? It's like they want to make it seem like they have talent, they have brains, they have this, they're a strong independent woman, but it's like behind the facade they're like broken, scared little girls that are afraid to grow up because they really don't trust for a man to be in control, but at the same time they want to be taken care of. So, I'm just like, just like with certain people, certain people are famous not because not because they are talented. They're famous because they can just pull in numbers, and they can keep people's attention. But other than that, it's kind of like when you see that, it's like this person is not a star. They don't bring any type of hope or faith to humanity. They don't bring anything, you know, except for, and then a lot of the times, especially with a lot of the female rappers, it's kind of like it's always about the bag, shitting on another woman, being better than every other woman. It's just like, damn, like what happened? I grew up during a time to where Queen Latifah was out, Raw Digger, MC Light, you know what I mean? Women with purpose and women with a real message. Women who cared about community, women who cared about unity. It's like nowadays, it's so these bitches are promoting narcissism. So now you have these impressionable younger women and even older women to where it's just like, ooh, I want to be like her. I want to be like that. So, now they're out here trying to be like that. They can't keep a relationship. People really don't respect them. They don't know how to connect and be good friends to other women. even when it comes, what happened to relationships like waiting to excel and all that type of shit? What happened to that? And when it came to Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston, they were the number ones that caught my attention because it wasn't always about love. Like, they made empowering feminine music. Count on me through thick and thin, a friendship. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, what? Like I get so disturbed sometimes that I just have to listen to that music and just cry. Cause I'm just like, this time is over. This era is over. And then it's hard for me to meet women sometimes too, cause it's like, I don't know, everybody is trying to take advantage of everybody. I can do a lot of things. So the first thing, I don't know. I can't never just develop a friendship with a woman to where she just enjoy me. She always want me to do something for her. Can you do my hair? Can you do my nails? I can do a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Can you make me these earrings? Can you do this on my clothes? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, damn. You don't want to go have lunch? You want to just go sit and have a good time? I don't know, child. So, I mean, these are all the things in which that I just been picking up on, throughout the morning and the afternoon. And I'm just, then on top of that, there was a real big car accident too, you know. I'm just like, what is going on? I know people are crashing out because everybody is so angry. It's like either motherfuckers is so angry or they're sad. I get it. But sometimes I don't know. That's why it's so crazy out here. That's why all the masculine energy is going crazy, because there is no balance. Count on me through thick and thin. It's me and my friend that passed away. We sang that song together at an awards assembly for the school. That was my girl. When you are weak, I will be strong, helping you. I don't know, it seemed like the gay girls got it all together. The gay girls are the ones for the women power and the women unity. I don't know. Maybe this woman, maybe you really want to be gay. But it's kind of like you like dick. You have to get past, it's kind of like you have to get past, because I think you're scared to be gay. I think that you're gay, but you're scared to be gay. Because truly, you don't like these men. You don't like these men. Girl, you are you're really conflicted, I think that you're homosexual on the low. I think that's what you're running away from. And a lot of the times when women like want to be so equivalent to men, women who have not accepted that they are gay, it's kind of like you're in competition. You care about the dick and what a man can do for you, and you like the authority of a man, but I don't know, I just feel like you gay. And I feel like you running away from it, and you've been running away from it for a long time. It's like you're trying to lie to yourself, and the mind is a powerful thing because you definitely can convince yourself of some shit that's not true. So you may be sitting up here saying, I think that you're fighting, women because you actually really like women. I think that if you get too connected to a woman, it's going to be easy for you to fall in love with her. Because when you connect to women, it's kind of like when you just connect, period, it's kind of like you don't see man or woman. That's a powerful person. So you're afraid of your power. It's okay to be attracted to a woman sexually and just her as a person. It's okay to do that. I experience a lot of women to where, they be confused about me. And I have met women, and thank you, I have connected to women to where, I'm just like, damn, like, I love her personality, and I think that she's beautiful. It's usually like harder women though. I like me a hard woman. Uh, a lot of the women though, they kind of like been white girls though, you know, because we have like little gay spots around here. There's just a certain type of woman. I like a siren. I like a tough woman, a woman who's not easy. She's not all, hey, I don't really, I don't know. But then I see women that are like UFC fighters and shit like that. I be like, oh, baby. I feel like women should not take themselves through that. That's hard for me to watch. I can't watch stuff like that. And those women be beautiful. And then they just get banged up so bad. I don't know, you know. I mean, but I'm not bisexual. I'm not homosexual, but I'm the type of person to where it's energy. I be falling in love with people's energy. But physically, you know, I love breasts, but I don't want to be bumping breasts. You know what I mean? I want penis. You know what I'm saying? I do believe I could be in a polyamorous relationship if we are all in love with each other. Meaning that me and her can be together really in love with each other, like really together, like dating. Like even having sex with each other without him. I do believe I could do something like that. I mean, that's not what I want, but you know, I you know, I do believe that I could do something like that. But I think that it's calling you. It's like it's getting louder too, but you keep running away from it. I think that's why you're very angry. I think that's why you're very resentful. You know, I think you gay, girl. And I think that the woman that you are displaying is not really you. I feel like you are a powerful woman, but you're acting like a little teenage girl or some shit. I don't know how to explain it. That's what it seemed like to me. It's kind of like if you want the respect that you really want, it's like it's time to step into your power. It's like you gotta find the calm, the strength, the stillness, the peace, you know. I just see a woman with a bat and she's just breaking out car windows, like just mad as hell. Just mad as hell. Then on top of that, you're very controlling. It's kind of like you need to meet a woman. You need to meet a real masculine woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, uh, I don't know how to explain it. I'm seeing a woman, so I'm trying to think to myself, like, what's up? You seeing somebody behind closed doors? Like, what's up? What's up? Maybe this is your vision of. So I see a brown skinned woman with a low cut. She has on like a blazer, a nice shirt. She has a beautiful face. Like her face is masculine, but it's not hard. You know what I mean? She has on earrings. It looked like she got on a suit. It's not a feminine suit. It's like it looked kind of like a man suit, you know. Yeah. Yeah. So her worst fear is to be judged for what she loves. So if she has children, she has a hard time with displaying love and really connecting to her children. You know, it's kind of like she sees herself as a wild animal and a man is her owner. So when her man tells her to sit, she sits. You know what I mean? So I get what you're saying. And I think that that's normal because rather people, well, not, well, I think it's normal. Thank you. Some people, you know, they find themselves early in life, so they develop their self-independence. But I understand where you're coming from. It's kind of like if you don't have somebody who can keep you in line, then it's kind of like you're a wild beast. You know what I mean? I used to be the same way, but I had to have a lot of men mentors, a lot of them. And, you know, men will handle you. If you're going to be beastly, they're going to handle you beast-like. So, you know, I would advise for you to try to learn how to discipline yourself without anybody else. I pretty much gave you the key. Open yourself up, because there is a woman that you see that you like. You know who I'm talking about. This is somebody that you grew up with, somebody that you left back at home. I don't know what that means. It's kind of like you're you're hoping that one day that woman reaches out and saves you. You want her to be aggressive like a man. But you have to remember, she's not a man, though. You have to figure out what you want. But you're not going to figure that out until you know who you are. And what I tell people, what we want somebody else, who we want somebody else to be to us, that is your higher self communicating with you. That's who you truly are. I've always wanted a man who's very protective. I couldn't find that. So I had to become that. When you become it, when you embody it, you will attract it. And this person will come into your life and they'll, you don't have to do all of the heavy work, all of the heavy lifting anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you're looking for balance. You don't care if it's in a man or if it's in a woman. It's just that you're following society. Oh, I'm a woman, so I have to look, I have to dress, be like society's expectations of a woman. And so therefore, I have these expectations for and of a man. But true to myself, that is not who I am. I really think that you like women. I really think that you're gay. It's like I think that you're fighting that shit. I think that you care too much about what people say and think about you to really explore yourself wholeheartedly. Do not let the world cage your beauty. Because if you take on that challenge with getting past your fears, you're going to transition into a woman motherfuckers never saw from you. Like, I don't know. I see a phoenix. But as long as you allow the world to shape and mold you, and you're constantly triggered by every little thing or not willing to heal, then it's kind of like you're never going to birth that phoenix. You're never going to be at your potential or where you want to be. Let's not say potential. My sister deals with a lot of undercover gay women. She's a catalyst for guiding women into the truth of who they are, Because it can get real conflicting too, especially when it comes to religion. Because religion does not favor homosexuality. But God loves everybody, and that Bible was written by a man. So remember that. God, the universe, rewards those who are brave. And when you love and believe in yourself, to love and believe in self is to love and believe in God. So,
Oh shit.
you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
No, it's my lip gloss. Okay, so we're going to end it there. So until the next time, we'll talk again. Thank you.